Alright guys, so I'm back. I'm actually waiting to upload the third part of my video interview with the hard bastard yesterday on the other channel, Bold Like a Leopard. So while that's cooking on one shot, I'd like to talk about the NFL. And I don't really talk about it on the other channel. First of all, because I think a lot of the political crap that took up the early part of this season and a lot of last season, who cares at this point? It doesn't matter anymore. But now we can get back to actually talking about some of these games. So I'm going to start picking the playoff bracket for this year, starting with the AFC. Now, I think I'm going to do the same thing for March Madness in a couple of months, because I think March Madness still is the greatest sports tournament ever. I like it every year, but it's not as good as it used to be. It's still the best ever, but because of bitch-ass players who go one and done and don't even try. Yeah, the NCAA tournament isn't quite as good as it used to be. It's still better than all the other crap that goes on. Even the Super Bowl, by the way. So let's look at some of these games you have so far. So Indianapolis versus Houston. I'm picking Indy. And then the Chargers are going on the road against Baltimore. So this, I believe this was actually the matchup in week 16, and it was also on the road in Baltimore. And I think that's the hardest game to call because, yeah, the Ravens were able to withstand the Chargers and ease. I think their defense really played very well against the Chargers. So, but I think I'm going to give the nod to, Baltimore to go on. I think that despite Lamar Jackson's, I would say, kind of flawed game, he's more of like a run-first quarterback. He's kind of like a Tim Tebow. And I didn't really see him passing. I saw this week he had the game against Cleveland on Sunday. They played Cleveland in Baltimore at home. He didn't play very poorly, but against a team like LA, I think they will be able to put together a good enough defensive effort in order to, allow the points that they are able to score to suffice. But long term, so let's go to round 2, the divisional playoffs. I think once you put them up against the Patriots, man, oh man, I would say the Patriots still take that game. The Patriots defense isn't what it used to be, and Tom Brady is definitely feeling the effects of time. But you have to remember, New England in the playoffs at home is something to behold. So, yeah, I'm picking the Patriots to win and go to the championship. Now, in the other divisional round, I would say that between Indianapolis and Kansas City, who has the advantage? Kansas City's defense has just disappeared, in my opinion. It used to be maybe 3 or 4 years ago that Kansas City's defense was like the envy of the league, and no longer. So Indianapolis, their defense has been playing pretty well. They obviously had a great game against the Titans this past Sunday. Amazing game against the Titans. 3 weeks ago, they just shut down the Cowboys. And so who did they play in the? I think they might have played Houston the week before that. So they've had a few teams that are not bad offenses that they've just completely bottled up, including good run games. I wouldn't say for reference's sake, I don't think that Houston has an amazing run game, but they have a passable one. Dallas for sure. Ezekiel Elliott was completely ineffective against Indianapolis, and Tennessee with Derrick Henry. Look, it just wasn't enough. What they really needed was Marcus Mariota out there, at least to give a bit of a threat. Instead, they had Blaine friggin' Gabbert out there throwing the ball. Indianapolis, I think, will be able to limit the damage of Pat Mahomes' offense. And Andrew Luck is going to be able to basically score at will against Kansas City's defense, in my opinion. So that's kind of my reach pick. Indianapolis versus New England is going to be the AFC Championship game. And I think that the Colts are going to make it to the Super Bowl. I believe that Luck is the one quarterback who is left who will be able to win on the road in New England and basically, bring an end to Belichick's reign in the AFC, at least for this year. Look, so the Colts, I don't know if you guys are noticing. I think that they have something that people just aren't noticing. Marlon Mack last week against Tennessee, and Tennessee's defense is not bad. He was running up a huge storm over there. So they don't just have T.Y. Hilton and Andrew Luck. Obviously, they have they have an offense that can be diversified. Marlon Mack, I think, is going to be pretty good. Let me see here. So the NFC side of the ball was you have Seattle versus Dallas. I think I will pick the Cowboys to win that one. And then you have Chicago versus Philadelphia. I think that Philly's luck does run out here. Chicago's defense is kind of, it's just stout enough. You have Khalil Mack. I think he will be able to get penetration and get after Nick Foles. So he will pretty much go in there and he'll put forth a pretty good effort against Chicago's offense. But you have to remember Chicago does have kind of a balanced offense. It's not an amazing offense, and Mitch Trubisky isn't going to be a Peyton Manning type quarterback, at least not in the short run. But yeah, I think Chicago gets their first playoff win with Mitch Trubisky. And then you go to New Orleans, which I think will easily be able to, well, maybe not easily, but New Orleans in the Superdome, they will be able to fend off the Bears. I think that Drew Brees scores 35 points against the Bears. The Bears aren't quite the monsters of the Midway yet. Sorry to tell you guys. But they will proceed to... The Saints will proceed to the NFC Championship against, I believe, the Dallas Cowboys will beat the Rams in the divisional round. I think the Rams are, they're going to be kind of caught off guard. They don't have a home crowd yet to fight the Dallas traveling crowd. That's one thing. So people think, well, they're playing at home. You have to realize LA fans are not necessarily as established as the traveling fan base of the Cowboys. So you might ask, well, so what? Another factor is I think that the Rams defense isn't quite as good as people thought they would be this year. They have given up a lot of points in a number of games this year. Of course, Todd Gurley will be a factor on offense so the Cowboys will have to. So you're going to see kind of a battle that already played out in 2017 between Todd Gurley and Ezekiel Elliott, two of these explosive running backs. It's going to be another episode of that, but I think this time Dallas will come out on top and face New Orleans, and New Orleans is going to win in the NFC Championship. I hate to pick against my Cowboys, but I'm simply saying that this year we're talking about a team. The New Orleans Saints are ready to play on the big stage again with Drew Brees, with Alvin Kamara, and their defense. Yes, their defense was pretty strong even against Dallas in that game. That was, I believe, it was a 13-10 game. It was pretty close. This time it will probably be something like 24-13 in favor of New Orleans. New Orleans is playing at home. I think the advantage in the Superdome would still go to New Orleans, even with the Dallas traveling crowd. New Orleans' home crowd is strong enough to kind of give them an advantage, unlike LA, which is, I think it's yet to be seen if they can be a formidable home presence. And then in the Super Bowl, picking the Saints, I think that Indianapolis facing the Saints again after, the last time it was Breeze versus Peyton Manning. They've rebuilt their defense. Indianapolis has to a level where I think that they can be fearsome, but they just don't have the tools to contain the dual threat offense of Breeze and Alvin Kamara. And that's about it. So that's my playoff bracket for 2018. It's New Orleans over Indianapolis in the Super Bowl. So take it for what it's worth, and I'll see you guys later.